This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by the Maddox Warriors 2025 Superhero Run. This September 13th at 8 a.m., it's a 5 or 10K run. It's for a great cause, and you can sign up now.
Attention, citizens. It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how a genre gets made. I'm GMB Komichek. I'm here with my long-suffering co-host and baseball buddy.
Yeah, we went to a baseball game. We did. How much of the baseball game did you watch in minutes? Can you tell me who won?
19 minutes. I
That's
believe the
tough.
Goldies did win, and I made the most substantive difference in the game of anyone in that place. I'll tell you that story in a minute. We're also here with Lyndon Rachenka, and our producer extraordinaire, Dan Vadeboncoeur, does not have a mic in front of him, but he is invited
I have a loud voice.
to interject at any time or call BS on anything we're talking about.
You can have my
Right.
mic anytime you want, Dan.
That's right. So, dear listener, I literally just received a message from Dylan. Dylan, if you're listening, when you finally get here, just know that I received your message. Dylan just messaged me not 40 minutes before we started this recording to say, I was sleeping on Super Pulp Science. I just listened to 100 episodes in a row and really appreciating the time capsule.
That's like 100 hours.
Right? The time capsule. Maybe he listened at 2
Dylan
times
who?
speed. I don't know. Listen, we're not going to dox anyone. I just want him to know that I know, that you know, that we know. Dylan, thanks. Really appreciate
sorry.
it. Yeah, and also sorry when you get here. This is you have 200 more episodes
I
to
think
go
the
to get
first
here.
100 episodes were the strongest ones, actually.
Oh, that's hurt. Yeah, that's right, because we didn't have a Lyndon around the studio.
Exactly. It was all interviews still.
That's right.
Everyone knew.
Oh, we have
every
so
week.
many more interviews coming up. Just wait. Okay, gentlemen, frivolity aside, I have to address a claim I made right at the beginning, which is the difference I made in the baseball game. Why am I at a baseball game? I only go 1 to 1 a year, and it's because Friesens invites us. They invite all the people who are printing books in Manitoba to a tangible thank you event. And I also think there's a number of people at the corporation of Friesens who love baseball. And so it's everybody wins. And I know nothing about baseball except that in one moment of the game, everyone was quiet. One of the people up to bat, you can give me the proper verbs if you need to, Justin. You used to play baseball. He has struck out. No, he hasn't struck out yet. He's missed two
strikes, and he has 3 balls.
He has 3 balls. And so it matters now. And the whole crowd is silent. And as you know, when the whole...
There was 2 outs as well, Lyndon. So whatever.
Is Gregory about to be obnoxious?
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, no. I just felt I could feel his tension from there. And it was one of these rare moments where the entire crowd also was like, oh, no, this is so much pressure on this poor guy. And so I shouted from our seat. And I believe he heard me. I shouted, your parents are proud of you. And you are enough. And he hit that ball out of the stadium. I'm going to take credit for that. I won the baseball
You're
game.
that guy who makes a joke at a silent movie theater, aren't you?
No. Sometimes. I did laugh in Titanic when the guy bounced off the rudder. I remember that in the theaters, laughing really hard. Yeah. Pong. So I am that guy. I'm sorry. But, gentlemen, we've got some serious matters to discuss. Not just the possible Air Canada strike, which will affect us, but we have come from San Diego Comic-Con. We've got Toronto Comic-Con coming up. We've got Prairie Comics Festival coming up. We have the launch of Bloodletters, which is a new illustrated novel of mine. We have the launch of Zatanna, the 80-page giant issue that you have contributed work into. And so I think, dear listener, we're going to discuss audiences and the role of launching, quote unquote, launching those books into the world, and how we either good or bad, how we have used different audiences that we engage with in different ways to help reach those people who have become our supporters, like you, Dylan. Thank you. So, in the interest of full disclosure, I think it's important to point out that Blood Letters is from a mid to small press in Canada. Zatanna,
What's it called?
Satanic Panic,
There you go.
is going to be out from DC Comics, which is a worldwide publisher of content. So there is right there different audiences. Let's first, in order to set some parameters for our discussion, discuss what we think the differences of those audiences are. The general comic book buying audience versus the general book buying audience.
So my first question would be, so when I think of Zatanna and DC, the built-in audience is huge, right?
They don't care who I am
Exactly.
whatsoever.
Whereas with a small to mid-sized publisher, they care a lot about you, Gregory, and what you're going to bring.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's like, yeah, and that's not being disingenuous to the publisher.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. But like you are like a bit of the pull. Like why should people care? It's you. Whereas Lyndon,
Suddenly I feel more pressure than I felt before. Yeah, okay.
You're
right,
part of a bigger machine. It's like when you do a solo gallery versus not even like a group gallery, but like a theme gallery that's about something bigger than any of its components.
Right. It's like if I'm on the away mission, you're on the starship and I'm on the away mission.
Yeah, I know what
Right?
those references are.
Yeah. I know Dan does. Dan knows. Yes, he knows. So yeah, wow. Okay. I hadn't thought of that, but that's so true.
So I've like
It's not
sometimes that's great when you do like a solo gallery show or like it's a self-published book launch and you have control of everything. It's really great. But I've also been in situations where I got grouped in with a gallery in Winnipeg and I thought they were going to bring a whole lot to the table, right? I'm giving them a huge chunk of proceeds. I'm renting the space, right? Like there's a lot of upfront costs. And I thought part of that is like, okay, they'll
promote it. Yeah.
They're going to bring in people. And that wasn't the case. It still was all on, I should have been pushing it harder. It was all on me to bring people to the door. And so those expectations were not aligned.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so then let's parse that a little bit.
How are you guys going to promote it? You know, like what your promotion plan versus Lyndon's
Okay, well, let's talk first about how comic stores work. In my misspent youth, I owned 2 comic stores, and one of the things that happens is that the solicitation, the on-sale date and the solicitation date are different. So the stores have made their orders, and those are non-returnable orders. That will have already... What was the final order cutoff? Do you know?
For Satanic Panic?
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, perfect. When is it?
It's September 1st.
Okay, so dear listener, if you want to get your copy, you have to go to your local comic book store and you got to ask them because those orders are then due from the store. And then those are the numbers that then come into the store, which then are sold at the retail price. So the store is already paid. They don't get to return it. They must sell it. They're also not supposed to discount it in any way. They're supposed to sell it at the retail price. So that's part of the...
And meanwhile, can you pre-order your book, Gregory? Even
my book is also available for pre-order right now, yes.
How are they pushing this pre-order? How does this pre-order work?
So if you go into any bookstore right now, an Indigo, a Chapters, any Amazon, I hate saying it out loud, but there you go. If you go into those and you type in Blood Letters... in either Errol Gordon's name or my name, Jim B. Kamichuk, you will find it there available to order wherever you are on this globe. But that is not the same as the reach that DC Comics has. Like it takes, if for some reason Blood Letters hit and had a huge orders now, the print run for the publisher's already set. They've already talked to book reps. They've already put in the metadata. They've already done the due diligence to figure out how many they must print already. So it can't have a runaway success.
This is the trick. This is the performance. Right here. This is why no one can detect his method.
If the pre-order numbers are through the roof, they're in the position where they could do like a second printing right away.
They could. You could.
Whereas if it was you doing it yourself, you might not be set up or able to do a second print right away.
No, that's absolutely true. But I will say that the difference between the two is that because of the final order cutoff is such a big deal for stores, and the speculators also come in around that time, and stores also speculate heavily on whether or not they need certain numbers. There can be a sudden rush and surge just before the final order cutoff. I know because we were that store, like some heats on a book or a creator, or and there are some names in that you are sharing the table of contents with that are
Well, that's the other thing about
pretty
this
impressive.
book for me is not only am I the smallest writer on these stories, I'm also probably the smallest creative on my specific Zatanna story. Like
Right.
John McCrae, the artist, has been doing this for 30 years. Mike Spicer is doing the colors. He's amazing. Willie Schubert's doing the letters. Like, these are guys who've been doing comics for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's a different kind of pressure for me because that's our one story. And then on other stories, you've got Daniel Warren Johnson doing writing. You have Riley Rossmo on art. We have Andrew McLean doing probably both on his story. Like, there are so many bigger names on our collection than mine that, it's all well and good that I'm working on the title character story of the book, but I'm the fourth largest person on the 4-man team of our story.
But this is the
profile.
perfect
It's perfect for me. It's
high
amazing
tide
for
racing
me.
all
Yeah.
the boats. Yeah, you've.
But I'm not responsible for carrying the book in any fashion whatsoever the way that you are.
And Ariel, let's not forget
And
Ariel
Ariel,
Gordon. Yeah. And she has a whole different demographic of people who are interested in her. When we were in Toronto and I mentioned I was doing a book with Ariel, we were with Book Hug, pardon me, the publisher. They changed their name. Long story. They were like, wow, you're with Ariel. We love her work. We've been following her for years. There's a different cachet in the literary streams of Canadian publishing. And I think of myself as someone who straddles, for lack of a better way to discuss it, high art and low art with equal vigor. I love, I'll talk for hours about a line of poetry with someone if they want to deconstruct it like that. I love it. I will do it. I'm interested in that. But I am going to be first in line to see the new Toxic Avengers. It's high art and low art. It's like I love those two spaces equally. And so that's sort of something that I'm bringing to that book that Ariel doesn't have access to, is that her words and work are going to go into a place where people are used to finding monsters, right?
So my question for both of you, are you guys being guided or instructed by your publishers on how to promote this for pre-orders? Like what guidance have you been given?
I have been guided, but if you sense my hesitation, it's because I don't want it to come across as there is no disappointment. I've actually had more support from Great Plains and the imprint Yellow Dog in launching Blood Letters than I have from most publishers at that level, where they assigned a person to do promotions, where they took our list of where we wanted to send our arcs to. They asked us for a list of people that we wanted to reach out to for blurbs, and they undertook all of those things with more vigor than usually is available to those presses. So the fact they had a person at all is, I think, impressive. But there's the way things are done in Bookland, and there's not a lot of room, budget, or attention span for anything that isn't the way things are done in Bookland. And so I do believe it'll be on me to rattle cages beyond that release date.
With a smaller to mid-sized publisher, they don't have a lot of advertising margins to play with, so they do what they know works, and there's not a lot of, if they experimented with every single title that they had, they'd be running out of money real quick.
Real fast, right? And the margins are thin and all of that. But we have this different thing where we're visiting a city at a time, sometimes 10 cities a year, marketing directly to people who care about what we're doing.
We're going to get back to that. I want to bring it back to how you do like pre-orders yourself. Lyndon, I imagine you've been given more of things not to do than a list of what to do.
I've been given absolutely nothing.
Okay, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
And we talked about this, I think, on the show, right? Is that you were worried
Right.
because you didn't know when you were allowed to say anything.
Right.
And when you saw
Many
pros do it,
Yeah.
you're like, well,
Yeah.
if they're doing it, I'm probably safe to.
Yeah, the
okay, it's
guidance
pretty hands off.
the guidance that I've gotten has come from asking other professionals if I can do something or not. I have not been given any explicit direction
Okay.
from anyone. I have a contract that says there are certain things I can't talk about, but there's nothing indicating how or when I should promote things. So I've brought the indie comics marketing tiny squeaky wheel
Yeah.
to
Okay.
my
Now,
version of promotion.
This is great.
I want to
promotion.
talk about this now. So
Yeah.
for like the dear listener who is maybe wanting to get into comics, has created a comic, created a book, a novel, a graphic novel, a comic, something, and they're getting close to, okay, I'm almost ready to print this. I would like to drum up some pre-orders. How can I do that without a
Well,
company behind me?
I want to say something that 10-year-old Gregory would have loved to have seen that I see Lyndon doing on his own steam, his own recognizance. He has put together a launch for his comic books at Prairie Comics Festival,
in 204 Comics.
right? And there's an announcement. If I, as a kid, had known how many people who worked in comics lived in Winnipeg, I would have seen that path forward much sooner. And so just for that reason alone, that somebody will see that path is available here in Winnipeg, the fact that you're putting this effort into telling the stores to order and that you're going to come there, promote it, and then you're going to buy a number of copies so that it helps their orders so that you can sell them again at shows another place.
Yeah.
Like that whole ecosystem that you're taking that scrappy indie book vibe to your big DC launch, I think that's so great.
Well, so the funny story about that launch, and for the dear listener, because I don't know if we've ever given full details here, we're doing a book launch, comics launch at 204 Comics on October 1st here in Winnipeg to promote DC's Satanic Panic at 204 Comics in partnership with Prairie Comics Fest. They have an existing partnership, so that is its own benefit there. But we're hosting this event, and my selfish agenda for it is that I'm already ordering through a different comic shop a large collection of issues that I'm going to be able to sell, which is great because then it pumps up our order numbers. Like when DC sees the thing, they'll just see a total number and hopefully it's 300 higher than it normally is. But the selfish reason that I've orchestrated this event is because I don't want to sell any of those copies to my friends and family.
Interesting. Yeah. Which is great pivot. Because this is usually what happens at book launches. Book launches are about inviting your friends and family often for the attaboy. If you're a famous author, obviously, lots of people come to your book launch. If you're not a famous author, if you're not a known entity, then it's usually your friends, your family, or other people who have recently heard about you might show up at that launch. So instead of 500 people, you get 25, 40, 50 people to that.
Right.
So the idea that you don't want those people at this event is great.
I do want those people at this event. I do not want the issues that are being sold at this event are not coming out of my stock that I'm ordering separately. They're coming out of 204 Comics stock.
Right.
And the reason for that is as an indie table, as someone who goes to shows and sells indie books and tables, I'm going to have this collection. I'm going to have this set of DC comics on my table that I do not want to sell out of too quickly because
Can't get any more.
exactly, because this is a book that is, in my mind, unlikely to get reprinted. So now is my chance to order my entire stock of it for X number of years. And so I want to not sell
Months.
through that stock.
Young Padawan.
Yeah. I want to not sell through that stock for as long as I can because it's equally as important to have a book on my table that shows that I'm published by DC Comics. It's going to help me sell other books.
Right.
And so I'm ordering X number of copies from a comic shop as a special order. And I know that I have friends and family that are going to want to buy copies to support me, which is great. but I don't want to dip into that collection of stock. And so I'm orchestrating this book launch where the comic store, 204 Comics, is going to make a special order, or is going to up their orders to sell issues, and my friends and family can buy those. And what's great about that is that it's going to support that local comic shop, who is great and supports community, and they have a partnership with Prairie Comics Fest, which tells me that they're a great shop. But also, that partnership with Prairie Comics Fest is that if you buy a membership to Prairie Comics Fest, you get a discount at that shop. So the other part of that is in hopes to drive more people, both from the casual comics community and anyone who wants to come and support me, to buy memberships
it's great.
at the Prairie Comics Fest and support the festival, because they are also growing and are awesome and deserve that support.
Dear listener, if you're only aware of comic stores because of The Simpsons, 204 Comics is the opposite of the comic store in The Simpsons. It's clean, it's organized, the owners are friendly and excited when someone comes in that has never been in a comic store before. Feels more like a boutique bookstore vibes when you come in there for how you're treated and how.
And they were instantly on board with hosting an event.
Do you think you were unique, Mr. Angel? I have been Caesar. I played Faust. How difficult could it possibly be to play the great Danton?
It's, a confluence of benefits for everyone here, and I get to have a little launch.
So yours is October 1st. The launch of Blood Letters at McNally Robertson is October 17th. So, dear listener, you can vote for which of us you like better by attending either the October 1st launch of Lyndon's Satanic Panic or the October 17th launch of Blood Letters with me and Ariel Gordon.
We've talked about launches a lot.
Yeah.
What is actually at this launch? I've never been to a launch before.
We're going to do different stuff at ours. What are you doing?
I actually don't know. I'm just going to have copies of the book. I have no idea outside of that.
Posters or signage?
Well,
or
it's
wine, cheese, cookies?
Could you actually launch it into the air? Like, that would be awesome. Just strap it to one of those rockets that you can buy, those model rockets.
Something just occurred to me. You need to hire a magician.
Oh no, it wasn't.
You got to have at the Satanic Panic Law. You need somebody in the. Okay, so this goes back to when we did. Cal and I did an art show, and we wanted it to feel like a little bit magical, and so we hired some people who could do close-up magic to attend the show and pretend to be regular attendees, and then in the middle of just general conversations and small talk, do close-up magic with people. You need to hide a magician in your crowd. Lyndon is just giving me the stare, like no stare. But I'm telling you, what would Mark Millar do? What would Rob Liefeld do?
I don't want to be anything like either of those men.
They would make sure the whole world knew that it was happening.
So the books will be there. Maybe a magician.
Maybe a magician. For sure, Lyndon looking uncomfortable at any positive
Are
attention.
you guys going to do talks?
We just sort of solidified the date and the venue within the last 3 or 4 days.
So details.
We're working out all the details still. I don't know what Prairie Comics Fest would like to do also as a partner at the event. So all those discussions still need to happen.
I'm a big fan of like a bit of a little slideshow and like some Q's and A's, right? Like
at our launch, we're doing a big live art. We're going to do some live art at the launch during the readings. Ariel's going to do some
as Batman.
A short read. Yeah, yours as Batman. You don't need as many bells and whistles. There'll be a short reading. If the reading is too long, your audience does not like it. This is my one piece of advice that I have. I've been to hundreds of book launches. Don't read for longer than 3 minutes. Then we're going to have a Q&A. Susan Maloney is going to host our Q&A.
Having a moderator.
Yeah,
right?
she's going to.
With some loaded questions, stuff that you want to talk about, but,
I believe she sent me a message to the effect of, I'm going to hold both your feet to the fire. So, it'll definitely be, she's a electrifying personality at the best of times. And if she gets it in her head that we want a bit of a spectacle, she will bring it. So that is going to be great. And then we're going to make some art there. We're going to engage with the people where we don't know who will show up. So we're going to make it as much fun for us as possible is basically it.
Okay.
But for me, the book launch is more like a meditation on the fact that now the work has begun. That's how I see book launches. Now the work of promoting your book for at least the next year, maybe the next 2, has begun, and this is the beginning. It is not a finish line. It's the start of the marathon. And that's how I see my book launches. And that's partially because we spend so much time dealing directly with people that what I'm trying to do at the launch is figure out how do I actually talk about the book in a way that's genuine and excited, that is not going to wear off 6 months later when someone asks me about the book, right? How do I find that little well that makes me excited to have made it so that it doesn't just feel like, buy my book whenever you meet a person.
Please, sir.
Yeah. Right. So I'm really looking forward to what may happen as a result of just having a totally different kind of author involved in its promotion.
Are you guys just doing the one book launch?
We're launching at McNally. Then we're going to have a presence at the Winnipeg Comic Con, and then we're also planning a Prairie Comics Festival, some kind of event.
Then,
We want to make it less of a launch for Prairie Comics Festival and more of some way that community can benefit from some knowledge or mistakes that Aaron and I have made. We're going to figure out. We don't know what that's going to look like yet.
but I think this is good for the listener to hear, of not just putting all your eggs in that one event. Like maybe McNally, nobody shows up.
That's
It's
right.
a little disappointing. But then you have another thing happening later on,
So
and everybody shows up.
I'll
to
tell
that
you
one.
where places where people won't show up. So this is the good thing about your home launch is at least some friends and family will show up. But if you do a launch in another city, which we are arranging, because I'm traveling, we're also going to reach out to some bookstores and some things to promote the book. But in those cities where my friends and family aren't, those bookstores will do a little bit of promotion. They'll put up a poster. They may send it out to their email. A few curious people may show up. And sometimes you are doing a book event in a city far from home where 3 people, 1 person, no people show up. And that's just part of the gig.
That's why those like book fairs, comic conventions, like craft sales are kind of nice, because there's people coming.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them know who you are.
That's right.
Maybe none of them will know who you are, but you have people walking by the booth,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
they're
So when
interested, you can get them.
stare off into the despondent middle distance, they can be like, oh, let's help that gentleman. What do you have here, young sir? Right? Yes.
Zatanna.
Zatanna. Oh my God. DC Comics, and Zatanna in particular, has a really niche core activated fan base. I know this from comic store days.
Right.
Have you been giving any warning, any guidelines, any feedback at all about how to deal with those, let's call them fans with a capital F?
Once again, I've been given no guidance.
I wonder if this fell into the stuff you shouldn't talk about. But no, okay, no guidance.
In terms of how to deal with fans outside of talking to other professionals.
Mm-hmm.
We were at an event in San Diego, and I was talking to a couple of other new creatives, I would say, a year-ish ahead of where my curve is, should things continue to go well. And I was talking to one of them about working on a Zatanna project. And they said to me, have you seen what the Zatanna fans are like on TikTok? I'm like, no, and I'm going to keep it that way.
Right. This is why I ask.
Right.
There is a, have you ever dealt with, or do you have in your other facets of your life, have either of you dealt with super fans?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Super fans. I had the pleasure in some cases and the complete misfortune in others with dealing with super fans in a previous project. And it is something that I don't know if you can be made ready for, but there are some producer Dan was just Googling some Zatanna fans, I think.
I just didn't know. I don't know who's this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Uh,
Fishnets.
yeah, people who
Everyone
are
always comments on the fishnets.
really into certain things sometimes hyper fixate.
Yeah.
And then make you the reason it's not the way they imagined it.
Right.
And that
Some fans shouldn't have access to the creators directly.
I agree, but
I thought you were going to say some fans shouldn't have access to the internet.
yeah,
That too, I'm sure.
sometimes true. But the problem and the solution are both the same in that as a scrappy indie creator, you go out and interact with people all the time. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
good luck.
I've disappointed enough family members. I'm not really worried about people on the internet I don't know.
Yeah. Wait till there's a Reddit thread about you.
I'm going to learn all the professor's secrets.
Only if I teach you how to read.
They're just stupid tricks, right? Haven't helped you get out of here, have they?
I had some more questions about like meat and potatoes kinds of stuff of
Oh.
launching your book.
Okay.
So besides the physical book itself,
Mhm.
what are some of the kinds of things that you guys are going to not necessarily right away, but in the next year of promoting this book, what else you're going to have to go along with the book to promote it at shows?
Well,
Signage.
For me, part of it is business as usual, but it's the most fun I have in the bookmaking part. Whenever I'm making a book, I always earmark and think about as I'm designing pages, which ones will be cool posters, prints, and other.
So you print out some like 12 by 18 posters.
So
of
I already have
pieces of the book.
12 by 18 designed, and they're not like they are in the book. They're complete own pieces of art that are related to the book that I believe the people who like my work separate from me as an author will like.
So they'll be going through your portfolio and be like, oh, what's
this from? What are these things from? Oh, well, it's from this book. So I feel like the drip of that has had a very lasting long-term effect on my book sales at shows for years. And I would love to say that it was a plan from the beginning, but the only plan came from, it started back when we first knew each other. In the Imagination Manifesto days, some people would say, do you have a print of this page? I love this page. Because I did some splashes and some paintings and things like that. Do you have a print? And I'm like, no, but I will next time. And that is how it led. It was like the book led me to do prints. And then I wasn't even in that world. Like that wasn't what I thought I was going to do. Loved it. Liked making it. Loved the idea of working at that scale. Because a 12 by 18 is so delicious as a graphic design surface to work in.
It's a standard printing size as well, so you should be able to find a digital printer that can make those
Yeah.
very cost efficiently.
Takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Lyndon, can you really use much of the artwork? Like
That's
how
the fun question. Is I don't own anything, right?
you're just
It's
a
not-
writer.
It's even if I was the artist,
Look at this.
you don't own anything. So, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legal answer to this question.
That is
but
not true. You are a lawyer.
Even if Gregory was the artist of this story, I don't know that he would be allowed to sell prints of this work without getting clearance
But
first.
can you print
Yeah.
some kind of signage with like the poster and kind of type over top like I wrote this?
Yeah,
You know,
probably
like
could.
to have it in your booth, just like
Probably.
some way.
Yeah.
So somebody doesn't have to physically pick up the book and start
Right.
the conversation.
So,
they can see it at
Back in the
distance.
day, we were allowed as comic stores. There was some press information for certain launches, like books would come out and
Right.
you get an email that says you're allowed to print out the cover of the book
Right.
for promotional purposes, any medium you want, as long as you do not take the trade dress off. This was like a specific directive back in the day. You can use it, but you must leave the trade dress on.
Right.
So I assume that must be similar now.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, I would love to put it on a banner, like
Yeah.
to have some of the artwork on my name banner that we have for our booth.
Right.
I'd love to get a poster done of it. I mean, the dream would be being able to get clearance to do like prints of any of the pages, even if the text is involved or included.
Mhm.
But I don't know that that's allowed.
Yeah.
That's all future.
I'll tell you that
launch.
they're probably
questions?
operating just like a regular bookseller in that, or a book publisher in that. It's not something we do, so we don't know even the answer.
Right. Yeah. But it's not, because if you go to any major comic, we were just in San Diego, you go to the comic sketch art booth and they have the virgin covers as prints that you can buy.
Right.
So someone somewhere is getting clearance to sell these.
I bet
are
they
they?
aren't.
That's the question.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
And
I
haven't
think
asked.
the gray area is probably that if the artist is selling those prints, yeah, I think corporate must know that they haven't paid them well anyway. So maybe this is a good way of turning a blind eye and keeping the whole machine running.
Dear
But if
listener.
you're the artist taking the art and selling it without permission, that's maybe, or pardon me, the writer selling it without permission, that's maybe different.
I have no idea, nor do my do Gregory's views reflect my own towards the corporate.
Is this something you're going to follow up on and ask?
Yeah, I
Can
absolutely
make this
gonna
a
ask.
banner?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tune in next week. So
Our hope for the the Infinite Universe, Infinite Studio, I'm all over the place, booth is to do a banner upgrade after this current convention season and do a bit of a revamp on our signage.
me too.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Which is something that all regular show goers should do, is regularly upgrade your booth.
Put your new stuff on the banner.
Yeah. So that's when I'll deal with that. There's that period between November and April where it's okay if someone takes a long time to respond to emails.
Sure, yeah.
That we can deal with all of that.
So prints is one thing we're doing. And then like some standard things, stickers. Ariel really likes handing out, and it just comes down to what your creative team likes to do. So when we were brainstorming this, Ariel said, for another book of mine, we had stickers printed of the cover, and I loved giving them out at events. I loved passing them out to people. I felt good promoting it that way. So that is also what we're going to do. We're going to have some stickers, right?
Gregor, you're into enamel pins now.
Yes, that's right. Well, I have my protection against robots pin technically is part of that Blood Letters branding.
Just make it a new color.
I might make it a new color. But the other thing is one thing I love giving out to people as a promotional tool is a very important piece of technology that I think is often overlooked.
Hug.
Well, not a hug, although that is often overlooked. No, it is a tool that allows you to read a book responsibly. It's called a bookmark, and you can put it. You shouldn't read a book all in one sitting. You take breaks, and you can put that bookmark in there.
You are the king of reading a book in all in one sitting and aiming to read a book all in one sitting.
Okay.
That's your
Dan, do you have a bookmark?
publishing.
No, dog and
You're a dog ear.
dog ear guy.
You know what, Dan? I approve of that. Dear listeners, Dan and I are coming out to you right now. We often, I can't speak for you. I'm actually just learning this now. I will dog ear a page without any. I don't even think twice. I fold that page right over.
Here's my request. I think the idea of the bookmark has been tarnished by people giving away crappy bookmarks.
Oh, okay.
People printing like on text weight, like flimsy little bookmarks. My entire life, I think like a lot in school and like just my reading life, lots of crappy bookmarks. So make a nice thick bookmark that looks cool and that I'm not going to want to immediately throw away as an
Where's
ad.
my wedding
I lose mine. That's why I always would lose mine.
12-point paper. That's all we use.
Where's
Just
my-
big, thick cover stock for bookmarks?
Round those corners.
Does anyone in this studio have the wedding favors that I did for my wedding, which were bookmarks made of wood?
To honor you, Lyndon, it's actually in my Shakespeare collection.
Oh,
It's in my collected works of Shakespeare. I tucked it in there because I was like holding it. I was like, oh, this is too nice to just
it's a
like
good book.
let it go into a random book and be lost or end up in the little library.
So not quite that far. You want to scale it back a bit.
scale it back a bit from like a
Those are
precious
really cheap though. They got them made. Like it was very affordable.
Right.
There you go.
Well, because he was cutting down old growth forests. And so there was plenty of chips, right, for them to turn into
yeah.
books.
Oh, that's
right?
probably how they get that wood actually.
Decent bookmarks.
Decent bookmarks. But the other thing, and this is true of comics, this is true of books, this is unfortunately true when you're talking about marketing books and comics, only word of mouth moves the needle. No big flash in the pan things. There is no giant, just pay for it and the promotion will then sell it all. The person and persons that bought the first round of books have to read them right away and talk about them right away, or your book does not sell. Readers tell readers when a book is good. And then that triangulates its way through other readers. You know, if you know someone who reads books, they know someone else who reads books, and that's who they talk. What do they talk about? What they read. And that's how it goes quickly. There are other people who claim that there are all these great tricks you can use, and you should get on to Book Talk, and you should do this. Yes, if you're in the fast fashion version of publishing, sure, by all means, quickly move your spicy elf born. And there's a place for that. And I'm glad people have found a bunch of books they like reading. But I also see what gets donated to libraries that they have to just throw away because there's too many of them. I see what piles up in little libraries that just gets thrown away. And it's the fast fashion of those flash in a pan, sold 1 million copies, got everyone reading them based on the advertising. People bought them, gave them as gifts, and they don't get read.
Dan Brown.
Sometime. But Dan Brown got that way, unfortunately or fortunately, because people read it and liked it and talked about it, right? He grew up pre-social media when bookstores were in every mall and bookstores were in every airport, right? It was a different time.
Just a rubber ball, yes? Thank you. Just a rubber ball. No. Not normal. Not a normal rubber ball. It's magic.
And I think that's something you can disagree with me if you'd like, Gregory. Something that's
doing that. Let's go.
A little more baked into the comics culture than the book culture is reading things quickly and starting to talk about them.
100%. Yeah. Because how long does it take to read 10 pages of your Zatanna story?
Right. 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe?
But how many hours of hate will pile up on the internet if you get it wrong?
Let's find out.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
We're going to find out.
Because that's another thing comics people do is they hold grudges for decades.
Right. Well, and especially right now in DC, it seems like Zatanna is once again an up-and-coming character. Like, characters go in waves in terms of their popularity. And thanks to Jamal Campbell's recent and successful run of a Zatanna book, it seems like that character is getting a lot more support.
What was that run called? I bought it as singles, and now I can't remember what it's called.
Are you thinking of Bringing Down the House?
That's
a different book.
Different book. That one was great.
Tamaki.
So good. Yeah, it was good. So, yeah. And people hunt characters. That's another thing. Right. So, when you're talking about promotion, what DC Comics is doing is there's multiple covers of that Zatanna book.
There are.
Right? There are a lot of covers.
There's 3 covers.
3 main covers? Yeah. Did they do a store promotion cover? Do you know?
I don't know.
So
I'd probably not a large enough title for it.
I don't know. That's why I asked.
I don't think I would be surprised if they did.
For the dear listener, what that means is comic stores can order, they can commission an artist of their choosing to do a cover, an official cover, and add it to the print run that only their store carries. And so some big titles will do that. And, you know, you'll see Golden Apple or like other big store chains, Third Eye, will have an exclusive cover that's only available through their retail chain. And this fuels speculation, but it
hated it.
It does not fuel readership. Right? It turns them into NFTs, and I don't like that. I'm whispering and holding my face.
Speaking of which, is off.
Have you heard of NFTs? Oh.
So I'm doing
this new coin called Current.
I just wanted to talk about this in the room because I think
it sounds serious. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust my body language to face you.
I did a San Diego exclusive print. Printed 100, we sold 100, worked out great.
Almost exactly. Yeah.
Almost
yeah. Like right down to the wire. Yeah, that was fun actually.
I'm doing the exact, but the whole time I was kind of like, what do I do if I have leftovers?
Yeah.
Do I burn them? Do I sell them online? Do I bring them here next year?
You get Gregory to scalp them on eBay.
Yeah. Or Gregory to scalp them on eBay.
Yeah, we'll flip them.
So I'm doing
flip them in the secondary market.
Exact same thing with Toronto, Canada's biggest Comic-Con. I'm doing an exclusive. And I think what I've decided is you guys aren't at the table this time.
That's true.
So
we don't have our charm.
We might not even be in the same convention center, Justin. We might still be in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Depending on the flights.
Yeah.
Enjoy that hotel.
So if I don't sell all 100 prints at Toronto, I will hold on to these prints and bring them back next year. So you have a chance to get the exclusive 2025 print or the 2026.
No, that's the opposite of
But it's the
Justin
show.
Doesn't understand the concept of exclusive, Gregory. We've had this a couple times with them.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw away like 25 prints
This is the whole problem with the exclusive thing in the first place. I hate artificial scarcity because it creates...
They're hand numbered out of 100.
Right? It creates this drive to consume whether you want it or not because you might miss out. It's what I don't like about the Magic secondary market, the Pokemon secondary market. Nobody's playing the game. They're just trying to buy cards that are worth stuff, right? I hate that with a passion. It's what I hate about the comic store secondary market. Flippers, I do not like.
We have a question from the Peanut Gallery.
Jonathan Ball of Stranger Fiction is in studio right now and cannot help himself.
Why do you want to call it an exclusive? Why don't you just say it's limited edition print?
Because I want to do so with my exclusives. I've set some ground rules for myself. It has to be a fun painting that takes up to like a day and a half to do, and that's like the rule. So I want to have fun with it, and then I don't want to see it again after the one show.
Yeah, right.
I wanted like as much as
Keep it exclusive for you.
Yeah,
But
I love that we get to like reprint art from like years ago and keep selling it.
People like it and want it.
So what if you made it a show exclusive, but not a year exclusive? Like you can only get it from you at the Toronto show any year until it runs out. Why? Because I know what you're thinking. Because when we did the San Diego exclusive, it said San Diego Comic-Con 2025.
And so does this one. It says Fan Expo 2025.
What if it had just said Fan Expo Canada exclusive?
See, again, like I don't like when I see people doing like, okay, I had a San Diego exclusive, and then I changed the background to orange, and now it's like the Gen Con exclusive. Right. Like that feels really disingenuous.
So that's what you're making. That's what you're doing.
Hold on, no. It's different because Justin has this problem with integrity. So, like, I know people, and we will not name names, though we probably should, who say, yes, this print is limited to 100. It has never run out in years.
Yeah.
They use it as They use it as a way to create artificial scarcity where none exists. Justin, on the other hand, is careful to number them, to keep track of the numbers, to be like, oh no, I might have accidentally sold 2 extra of this one. We have to take it down from the website. Like, you're pretty careful about all of that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's causing you concern, is because you care.
Speaking as a guy who deals with collectors all the time, and the collector fan base, what they want is what you're saying you don't want to do. They want each con to have a different background or something, and you can only get it there, and it signifies visually quickly where it was from, and so on and so forth. They want all the stuff you're trying to...
So the exact same design, but like a slightly different color scheme.
Yes, and you can't get it at the next con. You can only get it at this con. There's a visual differentiation. Like, these are the sorts of things that they want. What they hate is the thing you're talking about, which is that there's not a variability in the object itself. There is, this window where you can get it, but it doesn't visually distinguish itself from a different thing.
So you have to decide who you work for. Do you work for them? Do you work for those people who want it the way they want it no matter what? Or are you making a fun piece of art that after you sell 100 of them, you're going to make another piece of art?
Well, how does he do it? He uses a double. No. It's too simple. This is a complex illusion.
You only say that because you don't know the method. It's a double that comes out at the end. It's the only way.
I've seen him perform the trick 3 times now, Mr. Carter. The Prestige is the same man.
No, it's not.
The same man comes out of that second cabinet, I promise you.
I want people to think it's special, know that it's special, and I want to be upfront when people ask about like what if like what happens to the leftovers. I want to have an answer.
All the variations that we're discussing are the evils of capitalism that force us to have to monetize everything we like.
Exactly. I think you should give them away. I think you should have a contest online, social media.
Any that are left over.
You have enter your comment below, share this with a friend, and you'll be entered into a draw to win.
You're TikTok famous. What if we gave them to you to give away on your TikTok?
I could try doing that too, sure, but that's completely outside my TikTok category.
I'm
a movie guy, nothing else.
Right. So we'll give you an exclusive movie print. I love the idea of that's such a genuine, heartfelt thing. They were available for sale, and the ones that didn't sell, I gave away. That will actually make it more exclusive, right? Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Make you feel good about it.
Yeah, you would feel good about it.
Well, I will just make it like a blind box addition to high orders from the online store.
That was the other thing I was thinking of, just including it with the next couple of orders that come on the online.
Oh, like
store.
those people just get it.
Right.
They just get it.
Spend X amount, get a mystery exclusive from the past out of the stock that's remaining.
I wrestle with this because I hate that, it's an exclusive, but then you see it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, that's what they're after, according to J-Ball.
Okay, we're wrestling with, as we wrap up here today, we're wrestling with, the notion that we as creative people need an audience. And we spend a lot of time off the air, by the way, dear listeners, talking about not taking that audience for granted. How do we give actual value back in certain publications, in certain bundles, and how do we actually not taking it for granted? But the audience itself is not, it's not a ubiquitous thing that just spreads between events. The people who go to bookstores are different than the people who go to comic stores, who go to record stores, who go to punk rock flea markets, who go to anime shows, who go to vintage sales, who go to fan expos. These are all different sorts of people where the Venn diagram overlaps in that what they have in common is they like some of what we do. Some of who we are is reflected in them and vice versa. I believe it's a West African word, Ubuntu, is that. The part of me that's human sees the part of you that's human. That's what we're discussing. And all of the things that are in the way of that, or the way in which, in order to just have them appreciated and have it, we're supposed to put money in the way. There has to be this other thing. And so maybe we should do an episode later on the repulsive essentials, where we talk a little bit more directly about why our promotions are done certain ways and not just what the promotions are. Because some of the ones we pick, we incur those costs ourselves with nary a complaint. And other times we say, oh, I can't believe I had to pay money for that. And I think that is a good way, which to the dear listener who is hoping to maybe learn from our mistakes, we should have that discussion on another episode.
Before you do your sign off, I just wanted to make one addendum to an earlier comment about marketing. And that was me saying that I hadn't gotten any guidance for marketing. I also haven't seeked it out and asked for specific guidance on it from my editor or publisher. My emails related to that, to marketing, have always been, I've already emailed 1,000 comic book stores. I'm just letting you know. I have a book launch plan for this. I'm just letting you know.
You kind of buried the lead there in promotion when you were asking about it. You did email 1,000 comic stores, so we missed that.
But I wasn't asked to do that, and I haven't asked permission to do any of this promotion. I've just gone and done it.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to paint DC or my editor as being negligent. They haven't. I just haven't really gone out of my way to ask for permission to do things that I'm already doing and think are good for the book.
Yeah, and I think it's not telling a tale out of school to say that you have been very pleased with the correspondence.
Absolutely.
With what other people often describe as the faceless corporation of publishing is actually going pretty well for you. So that's, I think, important to point out. Dear listener, we have gone all over, and we have talked about many different aspects of making books and making comics and creating genres that we hope you will find interesting. And it is not without some reverence that I say a genuine thank you to the audiences that are out there that have supported our work up until now, who have found this podcast and found it to be interesting, listened to 100 episodes to catch up, those people. This is and has always been a platform for us to share not what we have figured out, but what we have gotten wrong and what we've learned from it. So hopefully we will be able to share more of that as we try brand new experiments here at the studio. And we really appreciate you, the audience. So this is GMB Kamichuk signing off and reminding you to join the fight and make comics.